Hello all YouTubers, I'm the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning back into this weather presentation for July 6, 2020. Before I get on with today's video, however, I would ask that every single one of you please smash that subscribe button and ring the bell notifications. Thank you guys so much for 600 subscribers. Let's get to our next goal of 700 subscribers and to our next long-term goal of the big 1,000. So please smash that subscribe button and ring the bell notifications, as well as watching the whole video. Both of these things really do support my channel, and watching the whole video, it's a win-win. You get the best weather content, and I get the watch time, which I really do need for my channel. And please also like and share this video. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. Alright, so today we're going to be taking a look at our tropical disturbance that is sitting right here near the islands. While it does have a low probability of development within the next 2 days, I did want to talk about it because I think it's still interesting to talk about these tropical disturbances and how all these tropical disturbances that are forming right now could even lead to more active hurricane season. But today we're going to be talking about this tropical disturbance here. I did a video on Invest 98L. If you want to check that out in the top right corner of your screen. Another video that I did do was Tropical Storm Edward and how that could potentially make landfall in the United Kingdom. That is also in the top right corner of your screen. And finally, depending on when you're watching this, I did do a fall discussion, my first fall discussion. Very proud of it there. So if you want to check that out on the top right corner of your screen, depending on when you're watching this video, it may be out, but if it's not, it should be out in a few minutes. So let's start. So this system has a 10% chance of development here as a tropical wave that is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. And this is still 700 miles east of the Windward Islands here. There could be some slight development of the system today, all right, but by Tuesday, environmental conditions will become hostile, most likely because of too much shear and even some dry air here. And it's going to move through the Lesser Antilles on Tuesday and could produce some heavy rain and gusty winds regardless of development, all right? So again, 10% chance of development, but it's still worth talking about here. All right, so let me slow this down here, and here we go. So as you can see, it doesn't look too organized. It looks like a tropical wave, and it basically is. What's good about it, though, is it's got a nice outflow boundary right here. And you can just see it's a blob of thunderstorms that's moving its way to the west. All right, it's got some disorganized shower and thunderstorm activity. I honestly don't even see, like, a low center. At least with 98L, like, I did see, like, I did see, like, at least, like, a low spinning there. But I don't really see anything. At least according to the National Hurricane Center, the low is positioned at around 50, I'd say 52 or so, 52 west and about 10 north. So if we go to the satellite loop, 52 west is about here. It's probably moved a little bit by then, and then 10 north. So if I had to say there's any kind of low center, I would actually put it right about here, because I do see a little tiny area of rotation. But other than that, the storm isn't very organized right now. But it's still producing some heavy showers and thunderstorms, right? And it's not even developed yet. You can just see how fast it's moving to the west. But it is starting to lose a little bit of its convection. All right, if we look at the ocean temperature anomalies, as you can see, it's sitting in some above average water. And that actually will be the case for the entire system's lifespan, whatever lifespan it does have left. All right, above average ocean temperatures the whole way through, which is good for developing this system. If you look at the ocean temperature, the actual ocean temperatures, as you can see, well into the 80s the whole way through, if not getting closer to 90, but that's when it reaches Florida, if it even does reach Florida. I'm not even guaranteeing that. But for the most part, ocean temperatures will be in about the mid-80s, which is very good for development because to have a sustainable hurricane, as long as the shear and the dry air is low, all you really need is 27 degrees Celsius for a hurricane, which is about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So those are your ocean temperatures. All right, let's take a look at the modeling now. Here is the GFS model. All right, so here's your precipitation, like your MSLP. Here's the storm system right here. There's your shower and thunderstorm activity. As you can see, it really doesn't develop in anything because then it's already hitting the islands. This is by tomorrow night. All right, that's 8 p.m. on Tuesday. And then you can see the wave could it gain a little bit more strength. I mean, you can find if it can find a loophole, but there it is. It's just basically like a cluster of green, not looking anything too special. And then once it hits like about Haiti and parts of eastern like Cuba there, then we can start to get some wind shear and all the thunderstorm activity gets carried to the northeast. And then the system is basically just torn apart after that and is basically dead. All right, if we look at the surface, the pressure and the surface winds, you can see that there is your little low pressure system right there. All right, so at least the low pressure system has formed. It has surface low has developed. currently sitting at 1,008 millibars of pressure. But look at this. This is by 8 p.m. tonight. You can see the pressure's gone up to 10, 12. All right, and our little area of strongest winds is right there on the northeast side, but there's no greens on the map, so therefore there's no tropical storm force winds. There's just some medium shades of blue, meaning maybe winds about 25 to 30 miles an hour, but that's about it. Then it moves to the rest of the Caribbean. Then we'll see, maybe you can find a little way to develop. This could even be subtropical, all right, so we start to see some darker blues a little bit, so that's a possibility. But then after that, it gets torn apart by shear and it's gone. All right. If you look at the cyclonic vorticity signature, this is another version of it. You might recognize it as like yellows and oranges on the map, but this is another version as well. And what this tells you, I like this version a lot better because it gives you the cyclonic vorticity signature, which is like the yellows and the oranges and everything, and the green colors. But it also gives you the 500 millibar heights, which is this, with these lines right here. And these little sticks that you see is those 200 millibar winds, which represents your shear. So this is a good map to use here. Combines 3 great weather tools. And so here's your cyclonic vorticity signature. Not too horrible. It's a smaller scale system. A lot of these storms that formed earlier in the season here have been relatively small in size, which again means they can strengthen quickly. They can also weaken pretty quickly. However, the 200 millibar winds, you can see, I mean, like it's going this way, like on the north side of the system. We also see 200 millibar winds going this way. So it's basically just tearing the storm apart. We got 200 millibar winds coming from all different directions where the storm center is. And that's just taking all the convection, just spreading it out elsewhere, which is why it's not really too good of conditions for development right now. But what you do see is a big high pressure system right here. Right here's your little H. And that's going to help to steer the storm in the direction that it is going, which is into the Caribbean and past the islands, which is why the islands could see some heavy rain and gusty winds. All right, so let's move this forward in time here. Sorry about that. All right, moving forward in time. Here you go. So it starts to weaken a little bit, but it has some of its energy left over. Keep in mind, it's just a GFS model. We'll be looking at the GEM model next. All right. Then it moves into, Haiti and Dominican Republic, and it just dies out. So it's a little area of energy, but watch, because a lot of these will be developing through the hurricane season, and conditions will be getting more favorable as we head through hurricane season. So stuff like this can keep happening, but at a larger scale is what I'm trying to say. GEM model here, not looking too confident in this thing either. All right, here's the GEM model. There's the system on the MSLP, basically the precipitation, and you don't see much of it. All right, it's basically just, this is it right here over the next couple days. So the GEM model has even less faith in it than the GFS model does, because once it moves into the Caribbean, once it hits those islands, the chances for development basically drop to 0. If you look at those surface winds, they don't even have an L there, which means the surface low hasn't even developed yet, and it may not, according to the GEM model. You can see at best maybe some 25, 30 mile an hour winds, as indicated by the medium and dark blues. But I mean, other than that, this system won't be developing too much, but it has a 10% chance of development, and it's still going to bring some potentially heavy rain and wind to the islands, as well as Puerto Rico even, which is why I want to do a video about it, because it's not just going to move out to sea, all right? It's going to be affecting land, and that's why it's still important to hear about this tropical disturbance here. If you look at the cyclonic vorticity signature according to the GEM model, all right, here you go. Right here, it's kind of strung out, but it's a little area of energy, and even though it's strung out, it's trying to develop a little bit, but then at least it becomes a little bit more circular. But look what happens. It really starts to shrink in size here. Here's your high pressure system, basically steering this storm in a west direction right there, and after it hits, it's going to hit Puerto Rico, and that's it. It might meet up with a couple little areas of energy to try and look a little better, try to impress the Hurricane Center a little bit, but I don't think the Hurricane Center is too impressed. All right, then it moves. Once it gets picked up by that shear, and it's out to sea completely. All right, so it might skim the Bahamas a little bit, but that's best case scenario or worst case scenario. If you look at the NCP and the GEM model, like the probability of tropical cyclonic genesis, you can see there's a little area here. This is completely separate. That has nothing to do with it. But you can see these little areas here that we do have about maybe up to a 10% chance of development in here and in here. So probably about I give it about a 10 to 20% chance of development personally. But even though chances of development don't look too high, still want to look out, because either way, we could still have several inches of rain and even some gusty winds up to 30 miles an hour plus for the islands, for the Windward Islands, the Leeward Islands, as well as even Puerto Rico. So thank you for watching today's video, guys. I am the Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time. Catch you guys next video.